breakfast puppies?
This podcast contains adult language and content and is meant for mature audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
You're listening to the Glitterbois.
It's a very exciting time, especially as a player in these times where you gather around with your group, and these days probably virtually, and you get ready to roll some dice to re-engage with this alternate person that you've created, this character that you're playing. And then somebody important drops out, and the campaign just tanks, and everything changes. We're gonna talk about what happens when real life gets in the way of gaming today. How many games have you just had collapse because somebody got a new job, somebody got in a new relationship, someone went off to college, somebody just couldn't make it work anymore?
Most of them.
I would say I have never carried a game all the way, what I would consider all the way through, ever.
Yeah, it gets harder to accomplish that kind of a task when you get older and all of your friends are older and you no longer have disposable time.
Yeah.
When the pressures of life, of real life, happen, they unfortunately pushed gaming to to the background. Gaming is a frivolous activity. It is a leisure time.
Yeah.
And it's really only able to be regularly enjoyed by those who have disposable currency to invest in said leisure, and currency in the form of time as one of those currencies.
Yeah, the whole time is money.
And then as people have children and new jobs, whatever, those definitely eat away at available time.
There's this huge nostalgic love for me for one bag of garbage Taco Bell and a couple of 2 liters of garbage diabetes water and a 24-hour gaming sesh where you just sit down with your buds and you just get really into it. And God, I miss that. I miss that terribly.
I do too. I have a nostalgic desire to return to that. And yet, every time I am bitten by that bug of nostalgia, I remember my recent experiences over the last 5 years or so of gaming at conventions, and how, back in the day, I used to laugh at the idea of only 6 hours of gaming. You mean you want 8 or 12, right? Come on. It's a Shadowrun. We're playing this all fucking night kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Where now, though, I go to conventions and I run things, and I've signed up for a 4-hour slot, and 3 hours in, I'm like, I'm fucking worn out. I am just, I am turned on and up and loud and active and invested in running a thing. Even 4 hours is so hard for me now.
It's gotten really weird. You want to chase that, but we should probably talk about how to try and maintain a game over life's obstacles. I have some talk about life's obstacles lately. I'm not going to get into what it is, but there's been a lot of curveballs thrown at me lately, and it's all just a matter of just taking what you have and trying to push on through. You may have noticed our erratic release schedule. 99% of that is from me. I think you had two misses in all of that, and that's just because right now life is in a weird spot, and I'm in my 40s. I don't have that 16 to 22-year-old luxury of time right now, and fuck, I miss it.
To your credit, some of the times that you missed that we then rescheduled, I also at the last minute was like, now I can't do it last minute, and then I need to reschedule. I think that it's just being an adult.
Yeah.
Being an adult's tough, man. I hate it. I just hate it so much. Although I like that I can have bacon whenever I want.
Yes. So how to adult and game, I suppose, is the real question. And I think that should be broken down into, do you have the time? Like, if you have a young child at home and you have a partner that, you want to spend time with, and you have, God help you, a career, that's going to eat up a lot of your time. Do you have time to do it? Because there are games where you can just drop in, but when we think of gaming, we're probably thinking about just, what we were describing earlier, that marathon, that deep immersion, that camaraderie around Mountain Dew and the cave's mouth there. So it's mainly, do you have the time, or can you make the time?
I think that there are some assumptions in play here that we should at least make sure that we're stating. This is a Palladium Books fan podcast, which means we largely talk about Palladium role-playing games. And as anybody else who is a fan of Palladium role-playing games knows, they are deeply rooted in the 90s and early 2000s, but mainly the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And in that era, there was a certain assumption about how a game was going to be played, and that was the concept of the extended campaign. People would just assume it's shared. This assumption never needed to be stated that you're sitting down to make characters for a campaign. Always. It was always a campaign. And now we're older. The concept of a campaign is still burned into our brain as an assumption. And yet it's one that we should probably begin to phase out, because it is a very unlikely thing that we will ever run or play in an extended campaign successfully again, ever in our lives.
Oh man, that's a sad thing you just said.
I know. Is this the first time I've put words into it? I've been fearing it for years now, but the truth is I just don't think it's ever going to happen again unless you deliberately take efforts to break it up television show style. Like, I take the British TV show style, actually, where it's maybe 6 or 8 episodes for a season. A campaign, I think, in our age, with the time that we have, could work that way, where we're not sitting down to play forever with an indeterminate future wherever the game goes. It's now we're sitting to play down, and we're going to tell a story of what happens to these characters in this season of the story.
Yeah, I can see that.
Come to the table with a plot or an adventure that you can wrap up in 4 to 8 sessions.
Yeah, in 48 hours per session.
Well, you know us scheduling. It was hard to get the group together for more than 3 hours straight.
Yeah, yeah. I think some of this is determined by age, and I think some of it is also determined by how much you're willing to bring in. Anyone who's played and enjoyed it will want to revisit that, will want to get the same kind of feeling of a campaign. But what honestly happens is you sit down together and you're like, okay, guys, but I got to leave by 8. I got to be up early in the morning. And then all of a sudden, someone's out. And then, okay, well, the DM can run that. And the DM's like, oh, Jesus, no. I mean, it's just, I think you can make it work, but you have to have your leisure time. Like, in our age, when you're sitting at 40, you're literally halfway through your life. You have a lot going on. You have to make some hobby commitments. Like, I have a lot of hobbies. Like, I do a lot of things. I do tabletop wargaming. I melt metals. I make model rockets. I do this. I do a lot of things. I could hit my late teenager time availability if I got rid of everything else. And you could do that, but do you really want to? It's fucking hard.
I don't. I'm addicted to video games too. And I like to watch TV shows, and I like to read books, and I do like to go out and do romancy things. And I also like my straight up me time where I just chill out with a cat and do nothing. If I wanted to be able to do those extended game sessions, I would have to start shaving some of those other things out of my life.
How did we lose that time?
We started filling the time with work and romance and a family and whatever. And honestly, I think it is like, I'm a mega geek. I've got so many nerdy interests that I have to find time to do all of them, which means I have to devote decreasingly small chunks of time to those hobbies.
Yeah, to all of them. Yeah.
Here's a fine example. This last 2 weeks, really, I've gotten addicted to the video game No Man's Sky. It had a rough start. I'd never played it before, but I got it in a Steam sale over Christmas. I finally started playing it. It's like, this game is scratching so many of my itches. It fills so many, it just strikes off so many things on a gaming checklist that I've been wanting currently to play. Well, problem here is that I have other commitments, such as life. And I decided that, I know what game addiction is like. This time I'm going to make sure that each morning I have attended to the necessary components for me to exist and to continue to do so in a way that I thrive. So I've gone to work. I've done my job. I've got a couple of editing clients that I do for podcasting. I've made sure and get their stuff done. I edit it, I send it to them, and spend the rest of the goddamn day playing this game. However, there are still sacrifices that I have made because I'm now so into this game. Those are, I haven't really read my email except like once a week. And I read my email like once a week. I respond to a few quick things. I set a few other things to remind me again in a week or so. And then I get back to playing a game. So there are sacrifices. That's my free time. The other things that I would enjoy doing, like exercising. I haven't exercised in like 2 weeks. I feel like a ball of slime right now. I bathe. That's great. It's good to know. But so that's, and you know what? In a week, I'm just going to get bored. In a week, I'm probably not going to be playing this game anymore. I'm just going to move on to something else. I'm going to get back into my regular rotating hobby of the day kind of thing. In order for me to run a campaign that, one of those super 8 to 12 hour campaign sessions, I would essentially have to do exactly what I've done for my No Man's Sky addiction the last 2 weeks and dedicate that much of my free time to planning it, assembling it, and getting everybody together and then doing it. And then after it's done, I'd be like, all right, I'm not gaming again for 2 months.
Yeah. I think maybe the, hammer crawl, for example, would be a good way to scratch the itch. But I mean, what was the life expectancy on those guys? Like half an hour tops?
That is an interesting topic that I could talk at length about. But for people who are not familiar with it, Hammer Crawl is a game that I put together and it's very in some ways similar to Dungeon Crawl Classics, which is where you have characters that are very expendable and you can make new characters very quickly. With a game like that, it's good. It's actually really good to drop in and drop out. Like it's designed for that kind of, who can make it this week? Okay, slide 3 characters over to them and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Gaming for adults is hard. If you want what you used to have, you will almost have to rearrange your life around it. Now, there are people who have done that. Most of them are, game designers who are working in the field.
Or they're game streamers.
Yeah, there are ways to do it.
Honestly, that sounds interesting, but I don't. It's that dichotomy, that conflict. Do I want to? Yes, I want to take the thing that I love the most and make money from it. But no, I don't want to take the thing I love most and turn it into
monetize
work.
It. Yeah, it's hard. The honest truth is that you'll never recapture who you were when you were 17, unless you're 17. In which case, go get another 2 liter of Mountain Dew and all the Taco Bell you can have. Sit down at your desk, turn us off, and go play.
If I met my 17-year-old self, I would punch that asshole so hard. God.
It's just it gets harder as you get older, and that's the honest truth. Like I was down for 24 hours right up until just before recording this today because I made the mistake of eating a skewer of chicken from 7-Eleven. That made me so sick. Like I I got feverish. I started puking like a madman. You're just not who you were when you were younger. You have all these flaws, all these weaknesses that you didn't have before. Like if I missed an entire day of sleep, staying up on Jolt Cola, like that would fuck me up for a week now.
Oh dear God! A couple years, more like 10 years ago. 10 fucking years ago. This is something that happened to me. I went on a ride with my buddy. We took our motorcycles down to Eugene, and it got really late, and we decided to come back that night. And I was getting tired, so we stopped. It was like 10, 11 p.m. or something. So we stopped at this store, and I bought one of those 5-hour energies. Now I'd never had one before. You've got one right there. Yeah, I've never had one before, and I slammed it back. I was awake for 3 fucking days on that. I was so jittery. It never went away. And then finally I ended up on day 3 when I was starting to kind of like hallucinate. I finally convinced myself to just drink a shitload of cough syrup and knock myself out. And then I slept for like 14 hours.
Like it's just a massive overdose of B vitamins. I mean,
it really fucked me up. I was like, and then I was like, never again. My wife was like, you were never touching one of those again. So
I usually have 1 or 2 of those a day.
Holy shit, dude. I'm sorry for your insides.
Yeah, I need to stop that. Start drinking tea or some shit. But
God, I used to drink Monster energies.
Yeah.
I used to drink like 2 to 3 a day.
Mm-hmm.
And now just the thought of sipping one makes me shudder in revulsion.
After 10 years of doing 5-hour energy drinks, though, I'm kind of like a juicer. And I'm like, yeah. And my girlfriend's like, yeah, you should just have some matcha, some nice green tea. And I'm like, but the chemicals, we need the chemicals.
Yeah. God. And now just talking about it, though, there's a part of me deep inside, this raw part of me that's like, don't you want to go get a Monster now, bro? No, man, you want a Monster now, bro? No, I don't. They're nasty. Do you remember that feel of cracking the seal? Like, remember the fizz and that smell?
That was a good noise you just made.
Oh, yeah, man. You want to? No, I don't. Shut up.
Why is our internal monologue always our worst goddamn enemy?
Seriously. Yeah, man. You want to get that 12-hour gaming session in, dog.
Fuck. That's what I miss right there. And I think you said something very wise when you were talking about how the 90s and early 2000s, it was taken for granted that it was going to be a campaign. And that's a campaign full of character development for most of the characters at the table, reoccurring villains building to a grand, climax or series of climaxes at some time, reoccurring villains, just this whole involved thing. And honestly, that's peak gaming right there.
Yep.
And it's because it is when it's brought off well, it is so good. It's really good when brought off well.
I think we also at that time had a greater sense of wonder still in our blood that wasn't jaded by exposure to the rest of reality and real life.
Well, I'm still kind of a 12-year-old, just in terms of my ability to marvel at things. Now, granted that some of that marvel has gotten a lot darker. Like, how do you even get dressed in the morning? What the hell is wrong with you, person? But I still have that. But what I don't have is the energy or the time. So what we're looking for, I suppose, is a way to get a taste of that without it being what it used to be. With the time. And I don't have an answer for it.
Well, this does tie in to that classic gamer meme of the frustrations that come with getting everybody's time synced up. When do we want to? What do we want to play? Everything. When do we want to play it? Crickets, kind of thing.
Yeah.
There are tools out there that are good for synchronizing that kind of stuff. I can't think of the names of them offhand because I switched to using a personal one of my own. Nextcloud is a home-based service, but that's a long discussion of de-Googling your life. But I think there was one called Doodle, Doodl, maybe. Anyway, there are these basic services that you say, I want to put this event, and these are the days and times that I'm available. And then you send a link to your friends, and each of them checks off which of those that they are available. And then when you've gotten input from everybody involved, then you look at the time slots and see which ones have the most check marks of all the people that you want involved. And then you pick the one that is most convenient to as many people as possible.
Yeah.
That can help with that kind of thing where you now know when it's going to happen. The problem comes when you have inevitable cancellations from people dealing with real life, like their kids or their vehicle or their job, making it so that they can't game. And unfortunately, they have to cancel last minute. And that brings us all the way back to the first thing you said about one person can't make it, but they're important. What are we going to do tonight?
Yeah. It's hard, but the honest truth is that you can still put it together if it's that important to you. But if you're anything like us, you have a lot going on and you're going to have to cut somewhere to make it happen. I don't recommend cutting the family. That's not the way you want to go. You want to keep your partner happy. I don't recommend taking it that way. I don't recommend work. The ability to keep a roof over your head and, the power on is very important. But I mean, like if you're a churchgoer, how important is that really? I mean, God will still be there, right?
What the secret, I think, then is to finding as many ways to take those things and involve them in your hobby as you can. Like if you're a church-going person, and get a youth group together or something. And well, not a youth group, I guess. It was a youth group for us back in the day when I was a youth. Don't get a youth group now. You'll be that creepy guy. But get your choir group together and play some D&D or something.
I mean, you already got the robes.
Exactly. You already got the robes and wizard hat. And then get the spouse, the partner involved if it's something like that you can share with them. And if it's not something you can share with them, I'm sorry.
Yeah. You may want to reconsider your choices.
That's that's kind of a snarky way of thinking about it, but yeah, maybe you do.
This is not going well.
Well, this is what we get when we kind of freeform episodes.
I have this horrible feeling of my own mortality now and how much I've lost. This is awful.
Yeah,
we should definitely put this out.
We're old and life's coming to its close. You're older than you've ever been, and now you're even older.
The whole gray in the beard thing. It's like, well, we can either keep you breathing or we can keep you the right color. So we're going to go along with keep you breathing.
Yeah.
Fuck. Okay. Well, that's Growing Old Sucks by the Glitterbois. And we hope you tune in next week for more uplifting gaming experiences. All right. Do you have anything else to say on this topic, sir?
Nope. Well, no, actually, no. I have plenty of things to say, but no, this is, let's bring it to a close.
I will say this to any of our viewers who are younger, fucking get this time. You will never have as much free time as you do now. Believe me, every form of life fills up its available space as much as possible and just a little bit beyond. And it's a natural progression. You'll just do that. You will have things you're interested in and you won't complete them and they'll just take up space in the back of your mind. Right now, if you're sitting down at a gaming group with a bunch of friends and you're having a great time and it's a long sesh, this is the golden time. This is the golden zone. So appreciate that fully and carry it as long as you can, because as life goes forward, you won't have that time anymore and you're going to miss it fucking terribly.
Yeah.
So get it while the getting's good.
You hear that, sonny boy?
Yeah.
Now get off my lawn.
I love my kid. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. We'll talk to you next time.
All right. You've been listening to The Glitterbois, a Palladium Books fan podcast. Glitterbois, Rifts, the Megaverse, and all other such topics are the property of Kevin Siembieda and Palladium Books. Please buy all their stuff and help keep them in print and making more games. You can order directly at palladiumbooks.com, and their entire catalog is available digitally at Drive-Thru RPG as well. Our opening music is 8-Bit Bass and Lead by Furby Guy from freesound.org. This closing music is Caravana by Philip Gross, available at freemusicarchive.org. All sound effects used are self-made or acquired via Creative Commons Zero license. If you like what you have heard, find us on Twitter and Facebook as The Glitterbois. That's BOIS. And check us out online at breakfastpuppies.com/glitterboys. And also join us on the Breakfast Puppies Network Discord at breakfastpuppies.com/discord. And if you want to help us out, please spread the word and help us build a community. Thanks again for listening. We'll catch you next time.
Hey, remember when you used to have fun and do the things you like? Yeah, me too. Yeah, it sucks now. Okay, bye. We did that for 25 minutes and 44 seconds of Life Sucks.
And already I'm tired.
And already I'm tired.